ARK Invest Cathie Wood just recently was on an interview with Bloomberg Markets and Finance and basically went off on why she thinks now is the best time to buy pretty much any crypto asset. So I'm going to talk about why she thinks that, what narratives are shaping up, and if you've been watching my videos for the past month or two, you've been seeing that there's a narrative really starting to shape up, and it looks like it's finally starting to come to a head. I'm going to be talking about why she thinks this crypto bull run is about to take off, and why so many people are not paying attention to this SEC versus Ripple case. I mean, except for you smart people. And I'm going to be talking about what that's going to mean for XRP, and why that could absolutely send the price of XRP higher than most other altcoins. And in fact, there's some traders that are now lumping XRP in with Cardano and Ethereum in terms of the altcoins that could absolutely buck any trend, whether Bitcoin goes into a bear market or not. So I'm going to be going over all of that in this video. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And in this channel, I am covering the SEC versus Ripple case because it's an extremely important case in the crypto world as a whole. I also cover investment markets and personal finance. So if any of those topics interest you and you're new to the channel, go ahead, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to tap the bell notification icon. That way YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And if you're feeling really generous, I'd greatly appreciate it if you go ahead and click the thumbs up button. It really helps out with a newer YouTube channel like this, and it basically tells YouTube to share this video with other newer audiences. So if you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right guys, well let's jump into it. So Cathie Wood of ARK Invest, a very, very pro crypto and heavy crypto investment firm. Well, Cathie Wood was doing an interview with Bloomberg Market and Finance, and they were asking her certain questions about, it looks like Bitcoin is coming unraveling. It looks like the crypto market is starting to unravel. And honestly, I can't stand it when mainstream interviewers ask those type of questions because it really shows how clueless they really are. Regardless of the price of certain sectors, regardless of the price of certain coins, the expansion of DeFi and the use cases for the cryptocurrency as a whole is literally expanding by the week. So Cathie Wood did her best and basically laid out why she feels that right now is the absolute best time to buy pretty much any crypto asset. Now, she was speaking in large part about Bitcoin mining, and in a lot of her insights had to do with, here it is, the narrative around green energy and renewable energy used for building new ecosystems specifically for Bitcoin mining, or really any crypto mining for that matter. In one of her examples, she pointed to a company called Talon Energy who said they're looking to raise $800 million, of which about $300 million are specifically going to be going towards building out an ecosystem for Bitcoin mining and essentially introduce Bitcoin mining into these renewable energy markets and sectors. She pointed out that ARK Invest actually co-wrote a paper with Square, another huge Bitcoin investor, on exactly how to introduce Bitcoin mining into these different renewable sectors. She pointed out Elon Musk and some of the ideas that he's been talking about, some of the ideas that other companies have been talking about, specifically like this Talon Energy company, talking about using solar panels, using solar walls, that when they actually utilize this solar energy, they can essentially build Bitcoin mining apparatuses into this new technology so that when they have excess energy, it will actually use that excess energy to mine Bitcoin. And here's the thing, here's something that a lot of people aren't thinking about, where Cathie Wood is kind of on the next level. She pointed out that crypto mining, or introducing crypto mining into an ecosystem like this, could absolutely help the widespread adoption of solar in a way that could be much faster than without the crypto mining. Why? Because there's another opportunity for some profit on the back end that 10, 20 years ago was not there. And of course, she went on to talk about the volatility of Bitcoin is becoming less and less with each cycle with each cycle that it goes through. And in fact, I saw on Twitter somebody pointed out they consider Bitcoin too speculative and too volatile, and they'd rather invest in something like gold. They then pointed out that in 2000, gold was worth $300. And now it's up over $1,800. And the Twitter user pointed out that seems pretty volatile to me. So long story short about the narrative is that she's now saying that Bitcoin and crypto as a whole is back in a capitulation where fear is at an all-time high. And in fact, I went and looked that up. The cryptocurrency fear and greed index is back to extreme fear. When this happens, typically the price then goes up. As we know, Bitcoin is coming into the market slower and slower, thus causing more scarcity and thus causing a price increase. She also pointed to a few of the stats where now with something like Bitcoin, it's essentially the first rules-based currency where you can actually track things like who's holding onto the money, when they bought it, how long they've been holding it for, and so on. And she used that to point out that a lot of the people that are selling are essentially new to Bitcoin, and a lot of people that are buying are long-term holders. And when money shifts back to long-term holders, stability ensues and generally prices increase. For all of these reasons, she thinks that Bitcoin is headed towards $500,000 in short order. I don't know if she's on the Max Kaiser level, who says by June 4th, which is just in a couple of days, Bitcoin's going to see a new all-time high. But nonetheless, she's very bullish on all of the crypto market, not just Bitcoin. So what other part of this narrative do we have shaping up? Inflation. She also talked about inflation. And to back that up, recently, the CFO of Costco came out and basically said he disagrees with what anything the Fed is saying about this inflation that we've been seeing as temporary. Jerome Powell came out several months ago before these stimulus packages came out and basically said, well, listen, we expect some of the inflationary items, some of these inflationary issues to happen, but it's only going to happen for a month or two. It's only going to be temporary. Well, now the CTO of Costco, Richard Galanti, came out and said, no, that's not what the data is showing. And he pointed to some different commodities, beef, tinfoil, some different things that people don't really look at, including the consumer price index, which more recently rose by 4.2%, which is the highest it's risen since September 2008. If you remember what happened in September 2008, well, that was basically the time frame right before the stock market crash due to the mortgage crisis. And what do people do with their money when they're scared? Well, they take it out of the markets. What is Bitcoin? What is essentially most of the crypto world being seen as? A hedge against inflation. Carl Icahn, a billionaire who used to be completely against Bitcoin, called it basically fantasy money, recently invested up $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. Why? As a hedge against inflation. So now that we see all these things shaping up, where does XRP actually fit into this? Well, obviously we can see that if you follow this SEC versus Ripple case, you can see that the case is crumbling right now for the SEC. They were just denied another huge motion that they were trying to get through, which would have bolstered their defense. The judge denied it, giving Ripple yet another big victory. So what's that going to do? Well, that's going to put Ripple in a position where a settlement could actually be more likely than at any other time in the case. And Jeremy Hogan on Twitter, and if you follow Jeremy Hogan on Twitter, he's an outside attorney following this case. He basically tweeted out and said that about 90% of the cases that the SEC takes on goes to settlement before it actually gets to trial. This is because the government just simply doesn't have the resources. So apparently they tell their attorneys to try to settle to save on resources and time and things like that. So it looks more and more apparent that a settlement could be coming literally any week right now. And this brings me to my final point in the XRP story, is that just a couple of days ago, someone on Twitter pointed out a chart that showed all the short sellers that are shorting XRP. And I did a video about this last week, but right now the short sellers for XRP are at an all-time high. Typically when there is a huge swell of short sellers, it generally happens which means there's a whole bunch of people betting that the price of XRP is going to go down. When that happens, generally the opposite happens. And if you need to know more about what a short squeeze is and what a short squeeze can do to the price of a company or a stock, go Google GameStop short squeeze story, and you can learn exactly what could happen if a short squeeze goes the other way than these short sellers were intending. And finally, a couple of traders recently pointed out that XRP, Cardano, and Ethereum could be the three cryptos that could go on a rally or a bull run of their own, regardless of what Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto space is actually doing. So if this is the case, if you're an XRP holder, this all seems like really good news because it seems like you're strong, and you're stronger, regardless if you're looking at the SEC case from a technical perspective or the fact that Ripple's planning on going IPO after this SEC case is cleared up. But that can all change in an instant, especially if Bitcoin completely takes a dump and the whole crypto market takes a dump. Everything could be taken down with it. So once again, if you follow my channel, you know that I'm largely looking at narratives, I'm largely looking at stories, and from what I'm seeing right now, you can see that even in the mainstream media, there's story after story starting to come out that people are saying, oh, it looks like Bitcoin is now bottoming out. It looks like a capitulation is happening, what Cathie Wood says. And even many others in the mainstream media starting to point to a FOMO type reality, where people are looking at the price of Bitcoin, seeing how much it fell from its all-time high, and saying, it doesn't look as volatile as it used to. Maybe this is a bottom before it goes back up. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are planning on doing, and do you think the price of XRP is just far too low considering all of these strong points. Let me know in the comments section below. Once again, if you want to follow along with all these developments, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, The Late Night Grind. And if you want to find out what other members of the Late Night Grind community are thinking, go ahead and hit the community tab on this channel. I put a whole bunch of polls out there just to get your input and your thoughts on this crypto space. So once again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it if you give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.